Sabah everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we finally have the brand new Ticwatch Pro 2020. It is finally available in the US and this is finally the upgrade that we've wanted of the original Ticwatch Pro that came out in 2018. This is a Wi-Fi version of their watch. They do have an LTE Pro model that came out last year, but this one is the 2020 model. Again, upgraded version with very nice aesthetics and of course additional RAM to make things work so much better. This is TK and this is the Ticwatch Pro 2020. Let's check it out. Like and subscribe and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified to whenever we have new videos on the channel. So here we have it, the Ticwatch Pro 2020. Obviously it's Design Award of 2018 because this actually is based on the original design that we got in 2018 of the original Ticwatch Pro. The main upgrade here is some better resiliency and of course additional RAM to allow this device to actually work a lot better. But what they didn't change is that aesthetic that we loved about the Ticwatch Pro, which is the ability of having that dual display technology. So this is the original Ticwatch Pro. This is the 2018 model. We have that leather band sitting there. And of course, today we're going to be talking about this guy. This is the 2020 model, of course, with the upgraded RAM and the military grade of protection of 810G right out of the box. If we look over at the specifications real quick, here we are. It is obviously a Wear OS device. This is going to be running Wear OS, and it does actually use the Mobvoi applications. We'll get a chance to check that out. Up to 5 days of battery life with layered display. That's the secondary LCD panel that we have. We have NFC for payment, premium materials for the actual aesthetics, of course, GPS tracker, and the material that they're talking about here also supports a much higher resiliency as far as the protection that we get there. Music streaming, built-in 4 gigs of internal storage with the 1 gig of RAM, IP68 water and dust resistant, heart rate sensor, of course, built into the device, up to 1,000 plus of watch faces available through the Google Play Store, not specifically made by Mobvoi, but also available for free on obviously, different things on the Google Play Store. And since we're running Wear OS, we're definitely going to be supporting the Google Assistant built in. The box is pretty simple. You get the watch already in there. We have a small manual here explaining to us that we need to update the software. Other than that, we have the standard USB-A to magnetic clip. Now, the cool thing about this, which I didn't realize when I first started reviewing these guys, is that there's actually a magnet built into the back of this. So the way I like to actually put it on my desk is to actually magnetically put this in, so it actually sits very nicely. And of course, actually mount this magnetically to the side of my table so I don't have anything hanging on the table taking too much space. So looking over the specifications that we have here, we have a 1.39-inch AMOLED 400 by 400 display. Obviously, there's a 2-layer display, and I explain that every time I show this to people because it is actually one of their cornerstone of basically what makes them so unique. It's actually that display that we're looking at right now. That's an external display, or the top layer of the display. When I actually initiate it, either by pressing the button or even touching the display, the main display turns on. And of course, that's where we're going to interface with the device. Swiping to the left gets us access directly to the Google Assistant. Swiping to the right, we have different tiles that we're able to interface. Obviously, this has a counter. We'll talk a little bit more about the fitness function. Swiping from the top, we have the toggles, just normal Android Wear functions. Of course, from the bottom, we have access to our notifications if we have any notifications showing up on our device. We have 2 initiation buttons here. One button initiates the application drawer, and if I close that, the other button is able to basically initiate the sport, and you can reprogram the bottom button. Pressing and holding the top button will initiate Google, basically the Assistant. So let's go ahead and turn it off. It's actually thinking I'm talking to it in Arabic. And of course, this also supports NFC for payment. It has Bluetooth 4.2, Wi-Fi AO2.11b, G and N at 2.4 gigahertz. And as I mentioned to you guys, this is an IP68 rated, which means you should be able to go in and be able to take a swim with this without any problem. This model does not have LTE, so just be aware this is not the LTE model from last year. And the big difference you'll notice is if we look at the LTE model from last year, the aesthetics are slightly different. The numbers are actually present on the crown or the top part of it, but it is actually very nicely darkened on the LTE model. It is also a little bit heavier than the LTE model, just be aware, but the thickness-wise, though, they're pretty much the same. We have 2 buttons with that microphone sitting on the side, and of course the bands are replaceable. This band is a leather, fake leather top with a rubber bottom, so just be aware. Sorry about that, a little bit, my hand dust there. And of course you're able to replace this just easily by removing the actual clip at the bottom here to be able to put in any kind of watch band that you'd like. Looking over on the bottom, we have the heart rate sensor and the pogo pin connector for the charging plate, and of course this is the same design. It's a little bit different than what we had last year with the LTE model, so just be aware that's some of the differences there. But if you compare it to the, let's say, the 2018 model, which is essentially the upgraded version, what this is, you notice that aesthetically we are pretty much using the exact same design, same button placement, same microphone placement, same speakers placement, even the same material when it came to the actual band. My main thing I would say essentially is the performance. That's basically where we're basically getting some of the main benefits. We are still running the 2100 processor, Qualcomm 2100 processor, but because of the additional RAM, this watch will actually run a lot better, and it did not need to actually jump over to the 3100 line of processors from Qualcomm, because that was some of the main optimizations that you got with the 3100, where they were able to make things run faster with less RAM. Here they added the additional RAM and of course gave us the same processor with the dual display, so that we can actually get a long battery life and of course keep that nice iconic design from Mobvoi and Ticwatch. The speaker is present right here on the bottom, so it is bottom facing to your hand, and of course this actually does have the heart rate sensor, as I mentioned to you guys, and it definitely looks and feels very nice. When it comes to the UI, you're able to change the watch face by pressing on holding, and of course you can go through some pre-selected items that you have actually used if you don't want to change it, and of course you can add additional ones. We do have access to the Play Store for this, basically for our watch built in here, access to different alarms, contact. Essential mode is the ability of using this for like an extended amount of time, up to 30 days. Find My Phone. It does support Google Fit, even though it does use the Ticwatch application, and I'll talk to you a little bit about the Sport apps. Google Pay built in here, Mobvoi Privacy, and you are able to download applications. An example will be here, Google Play Music. You can play music straight on this from Google Play Music over Wi-Fi without having to need your phone with you. You can even install Telegram and use Telegram as an actual direct app on this watch. You can use Tick Exercise. Those are the Tick functionalities. And of course, if I use Tick Health, this is the Tick application that enables us to basically track steps, a minute of activities, and of course we can click on them and add different things. You can see here the daily goals, and you can swipe through and go see the different functionalities. And we'll get a chance to see all of that on the device. But overall, it looks really good, and it actually really fits very nicely. As far as aesthetics, you can change obviously watch faces as much as you'd like, and of course it has a 2 connector here on the 2 loops, one sitting on top to make sure that it sits correctly, and the bottom one just make sure that it just doesn't flap here and doesn't get caught in anything. But it looks good, and it actually feels nice on the actual wrist. It's not heavy. Well, for me it's not too heavy because again, I came from using the LTE model, so using this is pretty much very simple. Only difference is this again has a 1 gig of RAM as opposed to what we had 512 with the original model, and this is a Wi-Fi model only, no LTE. To use this with our device, we obviously just need to be able to download the Android Wear application as well as the Mobvoi app. So the Mobvoi application connects directly to the watch. You can notice right there, Ticwatch Pro 0090. That's the actual watch that we have here. We're able to go in there and see some of the same, again, fitness tracking information that we saw before. We are able to track our information. And what I really like about this is that it actually even connects to, basically, let's go ahead and switch over. And it actually does connect directly into Google Fit. So that's one of the main benefits here. Through the Ticwatch application, it actually will go through, and you will see right there, it's tracked my run this morning. So I'm up to about 5,000, almost 5,500 steps, 1,597 calories, and of course up to 3.1 roughly miles. And what I really like about it is it just connects and it does its job very, very nicely. We can go into the journal situation here. We can go into the fitness information, look at the week. You can see how we are here. We can look at the week before that. It tracks everything. And we can even see the month picture, as you can see here with March, and even go into February. It tracks all the information really nicely. Now, one thing I do want to mention is some of this information in February was actually tracked with the Ticwatch Pro LTE. So because they're using the same thing, it just carries over and it works really nicely. So again, keep in mind, very nice and very simple. And of course, this works with the obviously the Android Wear application, where you're able to download additional watch faces, customize them, add different notifications, customize your tiles, add additional ones if you want. That's pretty much just a functionality on how to use it. And of course, you can customize the different notifications coming in, but that's really, again, all dependent on the device. Once you do that, and of course you connect it via Bluetooth, you're basically pretty much really nicely set. So let's go ahead and show you guys one thing that I really like doing here. Let's say I'm listening to music, and I'm going to go ahead and just play a quick song here. So here's NCS Jumbo, and the watch, as you notice, is sitting in normal rest position. So I'm going to go ahead and play the song. You'll notice the volume there. I'll click mine. Automatically pumps up the face here. I can pause. I can go forward. Again, all of these functionalities come very nice, and they are very, very good. Again, you are able to pair a Bluetooth pair of headphones, let's say Bluetooth headphones to TicPods if you'd like, and of course use them to play music straight off of your watch. And of course, this would be a perfect combination for both the TicPods as well as the Ticwatch Pro. As far as functionality and usability, I have to say that using it for basically 2 to 3 days on average is actually pretty good. The battery does drop to about 70%, 65 to 70% after the first day. That's with an all-day notifications, responding notifications, using it for music control, actually obviously in fitness tracking. So all of those things will normally work. And what I really like about it is the ability that it actually works very nicely. So you notice right there, I have indoor sports, I have cycling, I have weight training, and of course I can customize additional workouts as far as running outdoors, indoors. And if I want to be able to go straight in, I'll go home, I'll press the gaming here. That basically I have it mapped directly to play here. And you can actually customize it. So for me, for indoor runs, I'll go ahead and click indoor run. It brings it up and it actually starts running. So I'll go ahead and say, I'll give us the little counter down. And it starts giving us the analytics information here. You can swipe down between the others, and if you want to stop it, you press and hold, and it actually stops and gives you kind of an information. Would you like, that was too short, do you want to end it? Yes, I do want to end it. It does actually know that it needs a little bit more information. Other than that, there is no difference here between this and some of the other options or some of the things that we saw with the 2018 or even the 2019 LTE model. The additional gig of RAM just allows it to run a lot better, not having to worry about a limitation of RAM information. So you notice right there, the play music option is still there. I can go ahead and start it. And of course, you can control the volume, scroll down, and if you want to be able to go home, just press it in and it takes you back. You can always jump back in from the notification and initiate some of the other functionalities that you have there. Overall, battery life on this is actually pretty good. A solid 2 days into the third day with normal usage, and I'm talking about notifications, responding to notifications, listening to music, controlling my music player directly on my phone, and of course being able to do fitness tracking, which is the big thing for me. I love the fact that it does have GPS, so in case you do want to go out for a run and don't want to bring your phone, this will work, although obviously no connectivity there. But what I also find that it's very, very nice is that additional amount of RAM that we have here. From the 512 to the 1 gig, the UI does feel a little bit snappier. Now, we've seen this last year with the LTE model. If you want to pick up an LTE model, I'll link both of them, basically. The LTE model and what we have here with the Ticwatch Pro 2020, we get very much similar aesthetics. The difference between them is that's an LTE model and this is a Wi-Fi only model. So it will work with both Android and iOS, so that's something you want to keep in mind as far as functionality. But what I really like about it is the fact that we have the dual display functionality that makes it just so that it works really nice. And if you're running low on battery and you want to be able to basically push it for an extra day or so, you have that essential mode that will carry you over. It disables the color display and it provides us a smaller subset of functionalities, basically step counting and of course heart rate monitoring if you want to be able to use that. And of course the normal watch functionality of being able to tell the time on the watch. Overall, Essential Mode is a good function, but I haven't had the chance to use it a lot on the brand new one, but I've tested it out with the earlier versions and it was quite well. Just keep in mind, again, it does limit the functionality of what the watch can do, but if you need that, it is there. I like the fact that I can go a solid 2 days without having to worry about the battery. And of course, other than that, speakerphone, microphone, integration with the Google Assistant always works great, especially for automation and being able to initiate functionalities. And you are able to turn on the keyword if you want to be able to just initiate the functionality verbally. I keep that off because I want to be able to initiate it. Google Pay works here great. All of those things, again, are things that I've covered in the past with the original versions of these watches. But I have to say that the best functionality that I really, really like about this is if you have, let's say, the pair of TicPods. If you don't, obviously it'll work with any Bluetooth, but for me, the TicPods Pro 2 and of course the Ticwatch Pro 2020 work great as a good combo. Downloading music on this, obviously, listening to music if you have Bluetooth headphones works absolutely fantastic. So I can't say any more good things about this watch, but if you definitely want to check it out, I'll give you guys a link to both the LTE model that was released last year and then of course the 2020 model that is available currently both on Amazon. Like and subscribe as usual. Thank you very much to Mobvoi, of course, for letting me check out the Ticwatch Pro 2020 and of course share with you guys my experience. I'll see you guys in the next video.